Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Perception Paradox. My name is Jivela, and I'm your host. And today we continue with Tech Barbecue Conference series, which I recorded end of August in Copenhagen. And I interviewed quite a few entrepreneurs, investors, ecosystem players about life, business, vision, and challenges. And today's guest is Nanna Schultz, who is the founder and CEO of Momkind, a company born from her wish to bring more honesty, support, and openness into the journey of pregnancy, birth, and early motherhood. In this conversation, she shares her journey of motherhood and the challenges that come with it. Nanna discusses the importance of creating a supportive community for mothers, the difficulties of building a business while managing mental health, and her vision for scaling Momkind into a global brand. The conversation emphasizes the need for open discussions about postpartum experiences and the importance of work-life balance for entrepreneurs. So I guess let's dive in and learn more how we can elevate and open. So I guess let's dive in and learn more. Real people, real stories, and real challenges that break the status quo. I'm your host, Jivila, and welcome to Perception Paradox. Nanna, welcome to Perception Paradox Tech Barbecue Edition.
Thank you.
How is your first day at the conference so far?
So I just arrived a couple of hours ago, and I just touched base with my team and trying to figure out what are we going to see. I'm like that kind of person who is not making plans but relying on others' plans. So I'm like, what's in your program? What should we go watch? And then we've been doing, my colleague Sophie and I has done one of those speed dating where you stand at a table with a number and you meet a person and you have 20 minutes to kind of talk about stuff. And we're right now at Momkind trying to figure out how to raise capital. So that's like a journey that we're set on. And that's very new to me. That's why I enjoy having Sophie, my colleague, by my side, who is much more, aware of what's going on in that space. So I'm just leaning on her and having these conversations with people with money.
Yeah. She's like fish in the water, right?
Is
Extra barbecue colleague and team member.
Totally. I so much enjoy teaming up with her. We're matching up like yin and yang.
That's beautiful. That's how you flow like water then together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's been good.
Wonderful. Well, it's been only 2 hours at the conference, so it's quite early. Tell me, you are building a business, Momkind, that's focused on women, motherhood, and from what I've understood, right, it's from tools to education to community, and it's kind of a 360 degrees and I would say a manual for someone in the motherhood. Yeah. And maybe you can share more. How did that originate? Because it's not that common business focus.
So I became a mother myself 9 years ago. And at that time I lived in New York. And I think in general, and I think that goes for a lot of first-time mothers, you have all these expectations on how motherhood will be for you. And at that time, 9 years ago, for instance, Instagram was overflowing with very beautiful pictures of motherhood, like the croissant and the stroller, and everything looked so nice. And also, looking back, I don't think at that time we really told the true story of postpartum, for instance, after you've given birth. So my friends didn't tell me, that's at least how I feel, what could also be difficult. So going into motherhood, having Lily, my first daughter, and then everything just was not as I expected. I think the feelings, one of the feelings I mention a lot is the feeling of losing my freedom. Because that's so taboo to talk about, because you become a mother, you have this amazing child together with the one you love, but you also have the sensation of I will never have the freedom that I had before. And those kind of feelings were very overwhelming to me. And the whole experience of becoming a mother was a shell shock, I sometimes say, because that kind of describes it quite well. And I think so at that time, I was just trying to process it, and it got better, and I eased into it, and I loved being a mother later on. And then we moved back to Denmark. I had my second child, and I was in my maternity leave there. That experience stuck with me. And I was like, why are we not talking about this? Why are we not, talking about all the difficult feelings and emotions and frustrations and also the stuff that happens to your body after you've given birth, if you've given birth through C-section or vaginally? It's just like, it's insane. And, you go through this crazy bodily experience and there's kind of no products to use after birth. It's just like, oh, you can use like the shower head, but it's like, no, I can't like reach for it. It's so far away. So all of these things that, kind of alleviates the pain and also mentally gives you like comfort. I wanted to create a space for that. So that's how Momkind came about. It started out with a postpartum box. I wanted to focus only on the mother because there's so much shit stuff out there for the baby. And, like baby showers, and they come with gifts for the baby, and you're just lying there and like feeling shitty and on all levels. So the box is still something we sell, but now we have developed our own products. So it's like all the stuff that you need after birth. One of them being a perennial bottle or a wash bottle that you can wash your perennial area after birth without reaching for the shower head, and just like do it as you sit on the toilet. And opening up about the conversations about what happens to your body. Like the tears and all that is something that we really want to do with Momkind, is breaking those taboos. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happens and create that community around that. So we have a huge Facebook group, a private Facebook group that we have all these conversations in with there's like almost 25,000 females.
In Denmark?
In Denmark, yeah. So that's quite a lot. And really inspiring those conversations around, all the physical stuff, but also all the hard stuff about motherhood and being in a relationship, and what changes also in, intimacy wise and in your relationship with your partner. Starting Momkind, it was an idea of this postpartum box, but then also building the community. In the beginning, I was like, how can these two fit together? So it's not like they're... And then we created Momkind Lab, which is like inviting our community into the product development process. So since then, we've always like developed the products together with our community. So they test, they try, they give inputs. We do focus groups, involve them in every part of the product development phases. And that just makes the best.
So basically you're building your business together with the community while hands-on realizing what are the major problems, what could be the focus, and covering even different directions from services to support to community to product itself. That's so interesting. How long have you been running it?
So I started in 2019. 6 years now. Yeah, it's insane. I feel like I started yesterday, but that's kind of the feeling that you have, I think, with your own little company. But
what did you find the most difficult while building the business? And especially also, I can hear during the COVID times where you don't get access that close to the networks. On the other hand, there was a huge access online, which actually extended the borders.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for my company, it was actually like we created that community online, and also sending out these boxes was nice because you couldn't really access those products necessarily. But I think definitely the worst, or the most difficult, but also kind of worst, is like my own mental health. I would say, because I built a business and a work culture where we work not 37 hours a week, but 30 hours a week. So all the contracts are 30 hours a week, because I wanted to, I experienced when like having kids and, getting them ready in the morning and picking them up and trying to make the whole family life work with a 37-hour work week was difficult. So I wanted to be that company who offered a different way of working. And, we are talking a lot about 4 days work week and all those things, and work life is really changing. So that I'm very proud of, that I've created a company that works 30 hours a week. But as a founder, it's so difficult for me to just be like checking out after those 30 hours. I found out, and that I bring it with me all the time. Like every time I see something, I'm like, my mind starts, and and every time I talk to a person, like it's with me all the time. And that switch of like sometimes just turning it off and being present with my kids or wherever I was very difficult for me in the beginning. So even though I might have worked 30 hours a week, it was like mentally working, or like running my brain all the time. So I think that is still something I struggle with, but I had to go on sick leave for 3 months 2 years ago because I was so overwhelmed. And the business grew, and suddenly we were not only like 2 or 3 people, we were 7 people, and doing all the leadership stuff, and it was tricky. So I had to kind of wind down and totally withdraw actually from the company, which also made me realize that I've hired really good people who could kind of sail the ship while I was not on board. So that was, even though it was not a nice period, it was still something that brought a lot of, awareness and how I should run the company, how I should take care of myself. But it's still a struggle. It really is. It goes up and down. And of course, like if it's business is going bad or suddenly we don't have that much money, like I'm not just looking at it and saying, okay, we'll fix it. I'm like taking it in, and it lives in me.
Thank you for sharing. That's very interesting how more female founders than the male founders take it through this emotional prison. It's kind of, you really care, and it feels like you live through all of the emotions, which maybe some of those emotions you should just leave outside your body and your mind.
It's important to talk about. It's also a taboo within entrepreneurship to kind of talk about that it's difficult and that it's wearing you down, and that a lot of us do have, these periods of stress and taking sick leave and stuff. I think it's just more common that women will open up about it than men. And but that's important to me to do that, because being authentic and transparent.
Have you found, since you came back from the leave, have you found some kind of tools or rituals perhaps, or different ways of working that helps you to stay more grounded and infuse less external stress?
Yeah. So I have, that's a very practical thing, is that I have Mondays where I I can work the full day if I want to. Like I don't have to get home to my kids and my boyfriend. And that gives me just like the start of the week is usually like so much stuff to do on Mondays, and I can just sit there and relax and say like, well, I have the full day. If I want to stay, I just stay. That's more like on the practical stuff. I am more aware of taking breaks. Still not good at that, but like throughout the day, go for a little walk, or just like taking those tiny breaks. And then during my stress leave, I also did like cold showers, sauna, breath work and such. I wouldn't say that I do it like on a schedule, but I do turn the shower to the cold every morning, and that gives me something. But also just like trying to be more grounded in my body, lying down and feeling, doing the checking in my body once in a while when I need it, because I am more aware of like when that kind of bird sits on my shoulder and says, now the symptoms are back. So I react more to it now than I would previously.
And right now we're meeting at Tech Barbecue, and you're trying to change all the stigmas and hidden topics about the motherhood, because it's always, as you mentioned, the Instagram picture, oh, it's a strolly croissant and everything, but where is the topic about the relationship with your partner and how it has it changes, about the mothers who give birth and maybe for a year don't feel anything for the kid, and that's normal. It's postpartum and the hormones, and it takes time, right, to adjust to this new lifestyle, or losing the sense of losing the freedom, which perhaps I don't have kids, but for me, I guess one of my core values and things in life is freedom, which we express, of course, different ways. So what's your, as a founder of Momkind, big vision and big dream? Let's say now money is not an issue, you raise the funds and you can do anything. What's your big dream you want to build?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm very ambitious about the company and taking it further than Denmark. Like now we have a really good business case in Denmark. It's going well. And now we really want to focus on scaling the business and going into new markets. So I do see Momkind as a global brand. I would love to see that. Meanwhile, I'm also very aware that I want to build a company where we have a healthy work culture. I think it's super privileged and interesting to build a work culture, not only a company that, is successful and selling and, rise to the stars and you do a huge exit. It's also like building a work culture and having people, enjoying the process, as also me enjoying the process and not being like taking on a huge VC and just be like, as we just talked about before, the stress and stuff. Yeah. So it's exactly. Like I'm super ambitious, and I do see Momkind as a global brand. It has huge potential, and we're exploring that now. But I'm also aware, like when we, for instance, go and find funding, that it's going to be in a way where I can look myself in the eyes and look back on my team and look my kids in the eyes and like say that this is the way I want to live while this is going on. Knowingly, of course, that, it will be hard also, and it will be like, different than it is now, where we're just bootstrapping and growing organically. But it's something that I really want to cling on to and make sure that everybody understands it's important to me, that, I want to lie on my deathbed and think this was fun and not like, why did I do this? Because, of course, money is a thing and you want to be successful. But success to me is also building a company where people will stay on and enjoy the time that they are there.
I also, that's really great that you are also adjusting into the nowadays society changes, and that we're out of this industrial revolution working 9 to 5. It's not there anymore. With all the technology, we can make it happen to have more balanced work days, to spend more time on the things people love doing, or focusing on the families and raising kids, or just spending time on themselves.
Exactly.
It's not only about kids, it's about overall relationship with and the environment.
Yeah.
And I'm curious still to hear from you. You mentioned that how difficult it is to disconnect from your company, that you keep always seeing different opportunities and options, right? But do you think we ever disconnect from something we are creating, or we have to accept that it's part of our integral life?
No, that's also kind of what I've found out.
Yeah,
that it's like, because I do agree with you that we don't, and probably we shouldn't, but it's like, it's about finding a way to kind of be in it, like in a good way. Because that's also what I realized. I will never find that switch and be like, now we don't think about Momkind. It will always be with me, but how can I have it be with me in a good way? And I think one of the things that I really enjoy is talking about Momkind with my girls. They're 9 and 6. And they, for instance, when they see like we're selling drinking bottles with our logo on, and when they've seen it like out there because it's like in a stroller or whatever, they're like I saw your product. And and I think so taking it in like that with them, which I couldn't in the beginning because they were babies, and talking to, of course, my boyfriend about it in also a good way where it doesn't take up too much space in our relationship. So I think it's more about that, finding the balance and trying to enjoy that it's actually there, because it is kind of my third kid. And I'm very proud of it. And it's super important to me. And I'm happy every morning I go to work. And how privileged am I, really? So it's, it's keeping that loving relationship to it, and not let it be like, now you're there again. I don't enjoy that.
That's so beautiful to see your sparking eyes when you talk about the Momkind. And so we're getting closer towards the end. And before I wrap up with a traditional final question, I guess let's use this space. And I would like to hear, perhaps also the audience, what would be your ideal investor who would join the board of the company?
Oh, that is such a good question. If it's like a person I would have to bring on, it's definitely much more for like active money than passive money. Like I would want someone who can help us with the stuff we do now. For instance, scaling, like going into a new market, somebody who's really done it before. I don't enjoy being together with people who are trying to be wise on stuff they don't know anything about. That's like, but somebody who is really, knows about the stuff that we struggle with, but also buys into what we are doing, like work culture wise, and how we'd like to.
Okay, wonderful. So I hope it's out in the universe, and let's see
what comes.
What it comes around.
You can call me.
Yes. Okay, great. We're gonna leave a number in the show notes.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. But all right. So I have this closing tradition in the podcast where I invite guests, like in this case you, Nanna, to leave us with a question to ponder through the day after we hear the episode and the conversation. It can be philosophical, it can be business related, it can be the question you are trying to answer yourself. Anything you feel right now.
Oh, then I would go back to kind of the purpose of the company, I think. I think if you're not a mom yourself, so Momkind is about community. So maybe go to somebody who just became a mother in your circle of friends or family and ask about how they're feeling. Or if it's a little longer time ago, then like, how was it? Like being curious about postpartum and the feelings and emotion that we go through. And if yourself become a mother, then ask yourself that question and ponder that question a little bit and like see if what comes to mind. Yeah, having that reflection with yourself, but definitely also with others. It's so important that we ask those questions and are not afraid of going into that maybe difficult space with your friends and family.
Nanna, thank you so much for finding time and joining Perception Paradox during such a back-to-back conference setup. We were live from Tech Barbecue 2025 happening in Copenhagen. It was Nanna from Momkind, and I'll leave the links to the company and her LinkedIn on the show notes. Thank you everyone who were here with us today. Nanna, enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you so much.